This billionaire possesses assets worth $200 million, but he pretends to be poor. A bottle of red wine valued at $80,000 is swapped for a $10 bottle. Premium caviar is hidden inside a cheap food box from the local market, and imported cold cuts are wrapped in promotional packaging. This man's name is Santi. Just one day ago, he was so poor he didn't even have a mosquito net, despised by his wife, who accused him and filed for divorce. But after just one night, he hit the jackpot and became a billionaire. His financial advisor warned Santi that if he divorced immediately, he'd have to give his wife $100 million. If he wanted to keep all the money, he would have to pretend to be poor until the divorce was final. The pain of wealth without the ability to show off, who could understand that? Santi fought to keep quiet for 2 days, but he couldn't take it anymore. He rushed into a shopping center and spent money like a third-generation tycoon. He even had the staff bring him a stylish Gucci suit. It looked great, and so on. Beyond that suit, Santi took every other suit in the store. A limited edition Rolex watch worth $500,000. To Santi now, it was like a mosquito biting a utility pole. He bought a dozen pairs of high-end sneakers for basketball with Sugar Baby, limited edition perfume in bulk. Imported cold cuts and gourmet foods, he grabbed them all. Santi just swiped his card and took everything home. This is exactly the joy of the rich, how he wished he could be like him. But after buying so many luxury items, where could he hide them so his wife wouldn't find out? When he got home, Santi opened his dusty storage room. Inside, there wasn't even a belt. Turns out, this is where he planned to stash his wealth. The caviar and premium red wine had been replaced with cheap packaging. After arranging everything, Santi rewarded himself with a glass of wine. The taste of wealth was utterly exquisite. Santi was reveling in his delight when his wife suddenly came home. He hurriedly took off all his clothes and hid under the sofa. "Honey, you're back. Where are your clothes that you're sitting there naked like a tiny sparrow?" They all got wet. Christina felt guilty towards Santi, but seeing as they were married, she insisted he work in her supermarket. "If you keep living a debauched life, you'll ruin our generation." Without thinking twice, Santi flatly refused. After all, the supermarket manager was his childhood enemy from their wild days. But seeing his wife's pleading, Santi had no choice but to comply. From then on, he lived a double life, posing as poor during the day, yet a tycoon by night. At the country's most famous 3-star Michelin restaurant, Santi didn't care about the bill. After dining, he luxuriated in a presidential-grade bathtub. Outside the house, he wore brand-name suits and expensive shoes, but he changed into market clothes the moment he stepped inside. Every day he looked so busy and worn out. One evening, his in-laws came over. They prepared a lavish spread of delicious food, but Santi had just eaten at a Michelin restaurant. How could he eat more? Seeing his precious wine poured like water, he broke into a sweat. "Maybe this bottle's spoiled. Let me get another one." But his father-in-law praised it, saying, "Keep drinking, don't waste it." He even said its flavor matched exactly the high-end wine he drank 10 years ago, worth about $80,000 a bottle. Christina immediately denied it. "This wine sells for $10 at the supermarket where I work. We even use it for cooking. If you like it, Dad, take as much as you want." Hearing this, Santi wanted to cry but couldn't. He tried to stay calm and raise his glass to toast her father-in-law. But accidentally, the Rolex on his wrist flashed into view. The father-in-law caught sight of it. Santi quickly explained it was a fake he bought at Distrokletter 1ED3NG Kshuan Market for $9. The old man then pulled out a $100 bill and handed it to Santi. "Buy me 10 of those, son. Keep the rest." Santi could only remain silent and force a smile. He took the $100. While eating steak, his phone rang repeatedly. Christina urged him to answer, but Santi, no matter what, refused to touch it. He desperately tried to hide, because if he pulled out his phone, his wealth would be exposed. His wife nagged continuously, worried he might have a mistress. She wanted to listen to the call herself. Reluctantly, Santi brought up Christina's divorce request. Indeed, this shifted everyone's attention to Christina. She flew into a rage and left. Perhaps this marriage was irretrievably broken. Just the day before, Santi had been scorned and criticized by his wife, told he was worse than a beggar. Yet the next day, thanks to a found lottery ticket, he became wealthy. To avoid having to split the prize, he had to pretend to be poor before a divorce. He didn't even dare flaunt his friends. When shopping, he carried bags full of expensive products, but avoided meeting his friends. If they spotted him, he hid in a jewelry store, signaling staff to block his friends. The female clerk was smart and perceptive. Seeing his wealth, she helped him, and he supported her by buying a lot of jewelry. On his way home, he ran into a friend. With no escape, he hastily tossed all the goods into a trash bin. Unfortunately, just then a garbage truck drove by and collected everything. Santi stood there in helpless tears as his newly purchased items were hauled away. Sitting in his brand new Maybach S600, he suddenly bumped into another friend at a gas station. Santi gasped in horror. How could he explain now? Just as he was about to reveal the truth, that friend was busy applying hair grease to make his hair shine like a K-pop star. Fortunately, the car's high-end tinted windows saved him from recognition. Another day spent hiding had passed, and Santi's mood slowly began to shift. He realized his old friends are not on my level anymore. After all, he is a billionaire. Friends invited Santi out for drinks, but he always declined. Still living in accidental luxury but without friends, Santi began to doubt. Was this really the life he wanted? Wanting friends, but unable to reveal his wealth. So Santi devised a brilliant plan to make his friends rich like him. The very next day, the chubby guy, who looked just like Santi's old boss, was suddenly offered a management contract with a $10 million annual salary. The skinny guy from afar didn't have to work, but also received $10 million. As expected, once they had money, Santi's friends immediately turned on him. They didn't recognize him, treated him like a passing speck, poor and worthless. Santi collapsed. In despair, he went to play golf to distract himself. But fate led him straight to Mario, the supermarket manager, his sworn enemy. Santi pretended to be a part-time worker. Mario saw him and scorned him, challenging him to a match. If he lost, Mario would charitably give him $300. After saying this, he strutted off. Infuriated, Santi grabbed a potted plant and smashed Mario's car window, broke the wiper, scratched the side with a key, and even slashed the tire with a knife. But when he turned around, horror struck. The car was not Mario's, but an elderly couple's who were frozen in shock. He had wrecked the wrong car. Nevertheless, the real motive behind Santi's rage was that he had seen Christina with Mario earlier. He had disguised himself as a security guard to approach them. Christina didn't suspect anything. She even mocked him. Work hard, maybe in a few decades you'll become manager too. Hearing that, Santi's blood boiled. He almost transformed the golf course into a battlefield, but his lawyer intervened just in time, revealing, Mario's supermarket is about to go bankrupt. Santi brightened at the news. He planned to tell Christina, then saw his father-in-law buying bottles of wine. The old man had assumed Santi's cheap wine was premium and bought 10 cases. Santi just sighed. And to top it off, his father-in-law, impressed with the fake Rolex, said, "Cheap, beautiful, runs like a real Rolex. Can you buy 4 more for me to gift to friends? Here's $50. 4 watches equals $2 million. Thanks, Dad." Defeated, Santi left the supermarket to get some air. But at that moment, his friends rolled up in their brand new sports cars, flaunting themselves. Watching them squander money recklessly, Santi couldn't take it anymore. He sighed and declared, "I am the billionaire who gave you that money." After saying it, he felt a surprising sense of relief. That night, the 2 friends who had abandoned him boarded Santi's yacht for a wild masquerade party. It had been a long time since he felt truly carefree. Meanwhile, Mario's supermarket officially declared bankruptcy. But when Santi saw Christina's sad face, remembering the effort she had invested in it, he felt no joy. He is a decent man and sincerely didn't want to be the villain. After the bankruptcy, Santi invited her to a candlelit dinner catered by a Michelin chef. He told her everything about winning the lottery, the pretense, and why he hid it. At first, she didn't believe him until she saw the old warehouse transformed into a luxurious suite. Shocked and angry, she snapped, "You hid everything from your wife?" and stormed off that night. The next day, she received $100 million in her account, and the old supermarket was purchased under her name. And Santi? He was at the airport, ready to leave the country and live as a wealthy bachelor. But just when he was about to board, Christina arrived. She walked up, opened her arms, and then slapped him hard. "Do you think giving me $100 million and buying back the supermarket will change my mind? You don't understand me at all," she said through tears. Santi stayed silent, then offered her a bowl of plain tongue porridge, no scallions, her favorite. After all the turmoil, they finally let go of doubt and reunited, living happily ever after. The film ends here. Hello and goodbye to everyone. See you again soon.